Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 245, I believe. Yes, 245. When we last left our heroes, we wrapped up our little flashback into Arthur, Shinra, and Ogun's Academy days, with Arthur calling Shinra a devil, and a scene that's very, slur-coded, for lack of a better phrase. Shinra and Ogun play basketball, and Ogun gives this whole monologue about how if you can't win one-on-one, win as a team, which ties in with the present when Ogun stands up one last time to fight Charon, is beaten down again, but in the time Charon is focusing on Ogun, he is shot in the side by Hinawa. Not a killing shot, which is good. It could be very sad if that's just how Charon dies after all this builds up over so many years. But we're kind of get distracted now, because after Charon gets shot, Dragon shows up. And so now it's time for chapter 245, Dragon vs. Knight, the rematch. And I love how it takes up, normally there's a little advertisement for one of the volumes in the bottom corner of the title page. We don't have that here. It's just Dragon vs. Knight, the rematch. We still get a cover picture, this time of, I think that's meant to be Kirby. Every child's dream made reality. Finally, the Knight version of a certain dream puff takes the stage. And you see Arthur, gaping, I want one! I think it is a Knight form of Kirby. Which wouldn't be the first time that Okubo has made, a Nintendo-themed cover this month. He had that Wobbuffet Charon a couple of chapters ago, which is still my favorite, one of, if not my favorite chapter covers of all time. Anyway, let's jump right on into chapter 245. Dragon and Knight stand face to face once more. And Dragon, makes his entrance into the area. We see Charon kind of grit his teeth, either in pain from the bullet wound, or he's just kind of frustrated that Dragon is here. Ogun, Obi, and Hinawa all take in the new arrival as Arthur opens one eye to look at him, and Dragon just looms over Arthur in one of Okubo's many, many all-time great shots in this arc. This is just a really cool panel. And Dragon just stares down at Arthur, and Arthur just calmly stands up. So you've come, Dragon. And Dragon asks him, you ain't learned your lessons, son. If I'm to make my name as a slayer of dragons, then it has to be now. That's why I'm here. And Dragon, who I think we should remember, doesn't actually see himself as a dragon. It's a metaphor in the same way Charon is a metaphor. So he is not really a part of this dragon-knight dichotomy that Arthur's obsessed with. He just had an unfortunate choice of nickname. You're a damn fool. Nothing stands in my way. I mean, he also has the nickname because he's incredibly powerful. But the two of them just stare each other down. Dragon still looming over Arthur. And the two of them make their first strike. Arthur slashes Excalibur. Dragon slashes his arm, and the two clash. Neither of them really doing any damage. And Arthur just stares up at Dragon, his new Excalibur unbroken, unlike the last one. And Dragon looks at him, ho? And what's that? Forged by the master blacksmith of Vulcan from the body of a fallen star. It is the newly reborn true Excalibur. And Arthur makes another slice. By the way, these are all 3 straight 2-page spreads, each with some great panel composition in their own right, though I question the amount of detail Okubo put into Dragon's fingers on page 7. It's a little much. But yeah, Arthur makes another slash at Dragon. Dragon looks a little shocked, but we don't see any damage that's been done there. Oh, now we do. We see the cut go his whole line of fire past Dragon. It does not seem to have done too much. Dragon is still laughing, but it's still a really powerful move. Oh ho ho, a fine cut! And Arthur looks at him. I plan to end this with a single strike, but this is to be expected from a dragon. I doubt there's anything in this world you can't cut down with swordsmanship like that. Anything except me. And Dragon raises his arms and brings them down on Arthur. We see the explosion erupt right where Arthur was standing. And Arthur is kind of sent flying, not really losing control. He still is, very much in control of his body. But he's still up in the air, right in time for Dragon's flame breath. Now burn! Violet flash! And we see Arthur kind of jumps between from rubble to rubble to get out of the way. But Dragon lets loose his flame breath. And we see the huge explosion it creates. In compared to the Tokyo skyline. There we go. And Dragon just looks up as the dust clears. And then we see a little spark on the ground. As Dragon jumps up into the air, as he can't see Arthur, and he asks, "Where'd you go, kid?" And Arthur reappears right behind him, and makes another cut onto Dragon. But Dragon readies his fist and slams it into Arthur. And for comparison here, by the way, his fist is the size of Arthur's entire body. And he sends Arthur flying back towards the ground. He collides into the army of Infernals. We see Infernals sent flying in the impact. Arthur lands and readies his blade, and Dragon comes crashing back down onto the ground, and the two of them just look at each other. An otherworldly battle. The strongest Night King and the strongest dragon. Who is stronger? Next week, an intro cover page for the climax of the anime's second season. To be continued in chapter 246, 250 Years of Obsession. Okay, so, let's actually, I was gonna say this for last, but let's actually open with looking at that, chapter title for next week. Because it would seem here, judging by this chapter, that the next chapter would continue the fight between Arthur and Dragon, right? Which is great, and we'll get into that in a moment. But 250 Years of Obsession, that doesn't seem like Dragon, right? Because 250 years ago was the Cataclysm. And the only people who were still alive during the Cataclysm, or who are alive today that were alive for the Cataclysm, are I think Yona and Sumire. And Yona, we haven't seen a lot of Yona since the pillars vanished. So maybe next chapter we'll be pivoting towards Yona? I don't know. Who knows? Unless Dragon was around 250 years ago. I don't think we've learned that he wasn't. But the only people who have survived that long are deity figures like the Evangelist, whatever the fuck Yona is, and pillars like Sumire. So I don't know if Dragon would be. Also something I just kind of realized earlier in the video, I said that Dragon's title was just a reference to his incredible strength. That was because I'd somehow forgotten his gigantic flame breath attack, which is very much where his title comes from. My larger point about him not seeing this as a big conflict between Knight and Dragon still stands. He didn't see the destined battle part of it that Arthur does, but I was wrong on that one detail. Anyway, I don't know what next week's chapter title is referring to, but something tells me we will not be focused on Arthur v. Dragon next week. We might still get a little bit of it, and I don't expect it to pull a full Onigashima raid and just, cut out the rest of the fight. But yeah, I think we're going to be focused on Yona. Maybe we'll finally see what's going on with the pillars in Adola next week, which we have not seen any of. We haven't seen any of them since they vanished back in 239, 238. But anyway, talking about this chapter now, what a rush this is. It's just, it really is just nothing but a fight chapter. There's barely even any dialogue to it. It's just fighting. Uh, and it's a rush. You know, even the dialogue there is just like, you know, their own responses to the fight itself. Um, and yeah, it's just fucking great. I don't even have anything to say about it beyond just what a fucking fight. What a fucking fight. It really is so good. It's just so good. And it kind of makes me sad that I don't think we'll be focused on them next week because I want to see the next part of the fight. I mean, eventually, like right now, they're very evenly matched, and so something has to give at some point. In order for the story to advance, that's just kind of how stories work. But for now, this is just one hell of a chapter. It's just the two of them, you know, giving it everything they've got. And I can't wait to see where this fight goes. Unfortunately, I think we'll be waiting at least a little while to see where this fight goes, but I'm more than happy to be along for the ride. So that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!